In this video, I'm going to explore the beautiful world of mushroom photography. I want to show you how you can get the most out of the autumn and the mushroom season. At the end of this video, you'll also be able to capture gorgeous shots of mushrooms, so be sure to watch it to the end. If we haven't met before, my name is Peter Dam and I'm a nature photographer. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It enables me to create more videos like this. Let's head on to my favorite spot for photographing mushrooms and see if we can get some great shots. The best season for mushroom photography is late summer or in the autumn. That's when the abundance of mushrooms happens in the forest. However, you can also find smaller mushrooms in other seasons as well. They live on tree trunks or just at the roots of the trees. So even outside of autumn, there's often plenty of opportunities for mushroom photography, if you know where to look for them. Remember, mushrooms prefer a great deal of humidity and shadow. So we're almost there now. First of all, to get a good photo of a mushroom, I suggest that you bring a tripod. Mushrooms stand still and patiently wait for you to come up with the best possible framing. So there's plenty of time to set up a tripod. Of course, the tripod makes sure that you don't have issues with camera shake, and especially when you're in a dense forest like this, because there's not a lot of light coming through the canopy, then it's quite dark in here, and as a result we can't shoot with a fast shutter speed. We also want to preserve a small ISO value to avoid noise in our image, and this again translates into using a slow shutter speed. So definitely use a tripod. The next thing is that I prefer to get down low, so I shoot at the level of the mushroom and photograph it from there. This allows you to capture the shape of the mushroom much better and allow the shape to fill the frame. It makes the mushroom seem a lot more important. It's no longer something insignificant that you look down upon from your own eye level. It's bring out the character of the mushroom. You often want the entire mushroom from front to back in sharp focus. And this means that you have to be sure that you have a depth of field that's large enough to cover it completely. But you still also want to have a beautiful blurred background as well. You can change the depth of field by either changing the aperture value, closing it down a bit if you want to have more depth of field, or you can simply pull the camera a little bit back. This also increases the depth of field. Of course, you'll include more of the surrounding in the frame as well if you pull the camera back. If it doesn't help to pull the camera back because you want composition where the mushroom fills a lot more in the frame and you're not satisfied with the background because it's not blurry enough, it's not soft enough, then I suggest that you try out focus stacking, but we'll save the technique for this for a later video. I suggest that you use the rule of third as much as possible. It's tempting to have the subject in the center of the frame, but it usually ends up being quite boring images if you do so. You can create much more appealing compositions by using the rule of thirds. Another thing that works very well with mushroom photography is to use the lead room principle. And this means that leaving some space that allows the viewer to follow the way the mushroom is leaning or pointing, if any. This is of course not the case with all mushrooms, but if you look carefully, you'll notice that there's often a slight inclination of the mushroom's umbrella. And if you include the surroundings in the mushroom in this side where the mushroom's umbrella is leaning towards, then that is something I find that gives quite a good balance. And speaking about balance, is there something in the frame in the opposite side of the mushroom that gives a sense of balance, or is it just a dead area? You need to consider this. This could be like some smaller mosses or a dead tree trunk or something like that, or even just a color shift that can kind of balance the composition so you don't just have a mushroom. With mushrooms, you have to look out for reflections. They thrive in very wet conditions, and if you go photographing mushrooms right after a rain shower, you may end up with some nasty reflections on top of the mushroom's umbrella. So there are two things that you can do about this. One, make sure that you use a polarizer filter to get rid of the reflections. The second thing that you can do to minimize the reflection, if you don't have a polarizer, by shooting with the sun coming from behind you. This gives a subtle front lighting on your subject, and this gives less reflections. If you compare to using backlighting, then actually the light coming from the sun will bounce off the red area on top of the mushroom and straight into your camera sensor, and this is what gives the reflection. So use front lighting for mushroom photography if you have a lot of wet areas. Although mushroom photography generally works very well in natural light, you can't always get the look that you're after because the forest is often quite dense around mushrooms, so the light is often not very dramatic. In these situations, you can use an additional light source, and since nothing is moving in the frame, I find it most often easier to use LED lights. They are easier to work with, and you can position them as you wish and see the final result before pressing the shutter. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content on nature photography. I'll see you in the next video.